Hello, Palo Alto. Today is Friday, April 23rd, 2021, and In Focus starts right now.
Embarcadero Road. Walk sign is on the crossing.
Welcome to In Focus. I'm Cody Millar. We hope you're having a great week so far and hopefully some exciting weekend plans. One thing to definitely put on your calendars are the 93rd Academy Awards this Sunday at 5 p.m. In Focus reporter Nikki Hall looks at how this year's ceremonies will be different due to COVID.
The much-delayed 93rd Annual Academy Awards will take place live and in person on Sunday, April 25th, and will cap off an extremely hard year for the film industry. While the Oscars have some more significance than usual this year, there may not be as big of an audience, judging by the all-time low ratings for award shows like the Golden Globes and the Grammys.
I think they can learn from the Globes that Zoom Oscars will not work. That nobody wants to see that. People won't tune in, and it just takes all the glamour out of a event that's what people are looking for.
I just don't think the audience is going to be there in big numbers this year. It's not like with those shows, people watched them and said, oh, this is awful, and they tuned it out, or watched them and said, oh, this is great. They just didn't show up.
For audiences that are going to watch, many are excited for a different kind of ceremony.
Let it fly. Do the show you want to do, and indulge in maybe some of the things that you normally wouldn't, that you think are worth doing, because I think the risk is considerably lower this year.
The circumstances do give these award shows the opportunity to rethink themselves, which is something they probably should have been doing anyhow. But they don't need to cater to just the crowd in a Dolby theater. They can really kind of re-examine everything about their shows. And so the Academy is obviously, they're going to be at the Dolby Theater like normal, but they're also going to be at Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. So they're clearly thinking about different locations and different ways to hold the show. And I think the telecast will be fresher for it. I'm curious. I'm looking forward to it, even though this will be the first year I'm not there in a while.
Many studios this year have withheld their films in favor of theatrical releases on later dates, therefore missing the Oscars eligibility window. This has resulted in a much more unique pool of films in this year's race.
You can tell that the Academy is changing. It's getting more diverse. It's getting more international, and its tastes are shifting slightly. I think there is less of an appetite for big budget studio movies, the kinds of movies that used to win the Best Picture more often. I'm not sure that's good for ratings, but I think it's probably good for moviegoers.
This is a weird year on multiple levels, including the fact that some movies that would have been contenders probably, or at least were thought to be potential contenders, were held out of contention because they wanted to release them in theaters. Certainly, in terms of categories like special effects and production design, things like the James Bond movie and Black Widow that, just weren't released. But West Side Story, that remake was held back.
In this unorthodox award season, many are unsure where the top prizes will land.
If I had to go just by historically, Mank is a big, entertaining movie about Hollywood. Hollywood tends to love things about itself because we're all a little self-absorbed, So I would think Mank is the strongest contender, even though there hasn't been a ton of buzz about it. But I wouldn't bet my watch on it, much less my car.
It's hard to know for sure what to expect. I mean, it does seem like certain things are a lock. Chadwick Boseman is going to win. I think Carey Mulligan is probably going to win. I think Nomadland is going to win Best Picture, and Chloe's going to win Best Director. I think so. Some of the major awards feel like locks, but it does seem like a year where anything could happen, just because it's so strange. I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't be shocked if Wolfwalkers pulled up an upset in Best Animated Film, over the Pixar film Soul. I think Wolf Walkers is terrific and is a clear underdog in that race.
In what has been a very bleak year for the entire film industry, the Oscars have a chance to provide an entertaining spotlight on the many films in contention. For In Focus, I'm Nikki Bahal.
Thanks for that, Nikki. While the announcement of the winners of the Oscars are exciting, personally, I'm more excited for the Seamless Bay Area transit plan that was approved recently. Anish Tiwari has more.
Bay Area public transportation is generally seen as one of the most inconvenient transit systems for riders in the US. Because of the 27 different agencies connecting the Bay, using public transportation can be an expensive, confusing, and frustrating nightmare for commuters. Seamless Bay Area, a nonprofit advocacy group, is actively working to create an integrated public transportation system to fix these problems. Ian Griffiths, co-founder and policy director of Seamless Bay Area, explains the initiatives Seamless has done to combat these flaws.
One of the things we did is create a vision map of what a map of an integrated transit system would look like if we put all of our BART, Caltrain, our various different rail systems, which we have about 6 or 7 of, and all of our bus systems, which we have about 20 of different ones. If we put all of those systems on one map and thought about, showing that map as one integrated network of lines, and how that might change over time if we were to plan it as an integrated system. The way that you see maps when you visit other regions that have more integrated systems, oftentimes they have a map of the transit system and then it's broken into different zones that correspond to how much you pay. And then that's what determines your fare. It doesn't matter if you're switching from a bus or to a train or one agency to the other. So we developed this zone-based integrated fare vision map for the Bay Area, breaking the Bay Area up into different zones and coming up with a fare table that, if we had such a system, would make it very easy to calculate what the fare is. And in many cases, I think reduce what you'd end up paying for transit, especially for trips that would involve, multiple legs and multiple services.
Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has pushed back many initiatives to improve Bay Area transit. Mallory Mensch, a reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle, expands on this unfortunate reality for advocates of integrated transit.
It definitely is a problem with trying to get everyone to come together in terms of funding. So one of the, big pushbacks from the organizations when they look at bringing all their systems together is some of them may stand to lose money, or it may affect what they're doing right now. So that obviously is difficult for people or for these organizations, especially if they're just trying to survive and trying to keep going during the difficult time.
However, even during the pandemic, Seamless Bay Area has been working with state and local leaders to implement legislation which could help connect public transportation.
We have been working with locally elected representatives. We've been going to cities to pass different resolutions from city councils in support of this vision of a seamless system. And then we've been working with our state assembly members to introduce legislation that would actually change the law to make that seamless system a reality. And we just announced a few weeks ago that we have a bill that will be hopefully coming to, going to get approved later this year that will force transit agencies to do things in a more integrated way.
The bill Griffiths referenced is AB 629, introduced by Assemblymember David Chu, which includes deadlines for progress on the coordination of transit fares, signage, wayfinding, and real-time arrival information within 3 years of the bill going into effect. To support the bill, spread the word, visit upcoming public hearings, and support groups like Seamless Bay Area with donations or purchases from the Seamless store. For In Focus, I'm Anish Tiwari.
That does it for today's show. Be sure to check out our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch previous content, follow us on Instagram to engage with our content, and Twitter for updates and breaking news. Until next time, I'm Cody Millar, and this has been In Focus.